This is a poem, everybody, called If She Were Perfect. And it's written after a poem by a Brazilian poet named Vinicius de Moraes. And his poem was called Woman Recipe. If she were perfect, this other woman of mine, whenever I called her down, she would come quickly, appearing instantly, not a microsecond of hesitation, and just as quickly she would go. As when walking in a forest and after a twig snaps underfoot, a bird might take to the air in a blizzard of feathers and become suddenly gone. Out of the corner of one's eye before one even realizes the bird was there, and one is left only with a heavy foot, a silent forest, and the absence of a bird, perhaps only the memory of a bird, and she would come and go as quickly as that. But she does not, of course. And if she were perfect, this other woman of mine, how silently she would seem to float towards me, like a geisha in an opera, not a limb moving, but her whole being moving, as if on wheels invisible, moving towards me, moving me to poetry, and her hair would be auburn, red, blonde, jet black, and straight with curls that were close cropped and stretched halfway down her back, and across her eyes the color of sand in moonlight, eyes that call to you and say, come and stay at the same time, eyes that recall a perfect verse by a favored and dead poet, eyes of a woman capable of holding, without the slightest effort, 1,001 degrees of silence, and a mouth like a poem that is perfect, with lips that are wet and red and as guilty as wine spilled on a pale carpet, or as tragic as blood clotted on a bathroom tissue. And such would be her lips that men would dare no further comparisons, but simply fall down and weep in their lusting for her. And if she were perfect, this other woman of mine, if she were perfect, her body would be more round than straight, more full than empty, more flesh than bone, more real than imagined, a body to fit so perfectly across my own that when we made love, the darkness would be a seamless cover, a perfect blackness across our polished bed, with not the smallest crack between us to let the moonlight shine through. And if she were perfect, this other woman of mine, there would be the necessity for beauty without compromise, a real beauty that is final and pure and shining, but most of all, resplendent in its innumerable imperfections. Thank you.